S. Naren, Chief Investment Officer with ICICI Prudential AMC, joins us live. Naren, good to see you smiling.
No, actually, I was just thinking what to say, because today is not a good day to talk at this point of time. So I was thinking of what Sir John Templeton said, there is blood on the street, then that's a time to look at for long-term investing. I think there is absolute blood on the street, and I think in these kind of situations, you actually think as though the markets are going to come to an end or something like that. But the past experience of all the big people have shown that these are times to actually consider investing, because these are not times to panic at this point of time. And in my opinion, if I see the fixed income market, there's complete panic on the street, and at that same time we are in a situation where valuations are absolutely fantastic in fixed income. So I think clearly, we are in a phase where I think you can make a lot of money by good, safe, long-term investing, but it won't appear if I see the markets at this point of time.
Naren, whereas it may be too late to panic, but it could be too early to buy.
That's where actually I believe that if I take both the markets, the equity market and the fixed income market, when I see the fixed income market, I clearly see a situation where not only is it in panic territory, but it is time to buy. If I see equity market, everything points to the same situation except one thing, that FIs have been extremely bullish in the last 3 years on India. And at times when the growth was continuously decelerating and the current account deficit was rising and diesel prices were not getting increased, they used to invest billions of dollars each month. So now, after investing when times were very bad at that point of time, and I would say worse than what it is today, now if they start selling, I don't know what kind of an asset allocation framework they're using, because I cannot understand. Last year, if I see the situation, monsoon wasn't good. You had no diesel price hikes. You had a situation where the current account deficit was expanding. And you had a situation where at that point of time people weren't worried about current account deficit. Whereas today we are in a situation where everybody is focused from morning to evening on dollar. The government is taking steps to cut current account deficit. You have actually moved to a very, very tight monetary policy to squeeze imports and squeeze growth. So I think, right now I don't know why people have to panic. I do agree that in fixed income valuations are super attractive. In equities, there are still 10 or 12 stocks which are quite overvalued. And the rest of the market is dirt cheap. If you look at the market beyond those 10, 12 stocks, I think most of them are trading below book at this point of time. And not only are they trading below book, I think many of them are trading at 4-5 year lows right now. And you're seeing that kind of situation in dollar terms. If you looked at those stocks, they are trading at like possibly 7-year low or something like that. So I think this is, I do agree, maybe it is not the complete panic bottom as far as equity is concerned, but even in equity, I think all but 15 stocks is almost panic bottom at this point of time. Now, does it mean that tomorrow the market will go up? I don't know, but I can tell you one thing, that once growth returns, all these prices which you see today are going to look very, very cheap once growth returns. Do I expect growth to return immediately? The answer is no. Do I expect growth to return in the medium term? Certainly the answer is yes. So I think that is, so as long as you're not a trader, I think times have become very interesting at this point of time. And I don't know why everyone is panicking at this point of time.
So Naren, would your list of favorites and stocks that are looking attractive include any from the banking pack?
See, I think banking is a pack which requires, fire. See, even banking today, if you look at the way banking stocks have fallen in the last 3 months, we've been underweight on the sector from 2009. But we are also looking to add at this point of time. And for the past 4 years, we've been underweight. And because now the valuations have become dirt cheap, the fact is that, banking, the way we look at it, requires lower interest rates and growth. Now, do I want to play lower interest rates through the fixed income market? The answer is yes. I think there the valuations are mouth-watering at this point of time. I mean, so I would say that you have a situation where the government is borrowing 30-day money at 11.8% as they did last week. That's absolutely mouth-watering. So I can't understand why people are not investing into the blood in the street in the fixed income market. But and now today people are very scared. I nowadays get mails within our company saying is fixed income safer asset class than equity. Luckily, the last 2 days fall now, people realize that equities are more unsafe asset class than fixed income. Otherwise, people in most companies were thinking fixed income is more unsafe compared to equity. So I think that's the kind of situation which exists today. So I think, for investors, for long-term investors, panics are very useful. And for traders, panics are extremely bad. For mutual funds, because they are essentially vehicles for long-term investing. If we are able to get inflows when panic is happening, I think it's an absolutely fantastic situation. But how to comfort people that they're going to make money if they invest in fixed income today. That's a big challenge we're having at this point of time. And that is a task we are engaged in at this point of time, because to me it appears like a sitter at this point of time. And but at the same time, people are in such shock because many of them thought that they will get safety in fixed income, which they didn't get in the last 3 months. So people are in a state of shock. In that shock, you have to get them to invest more, because that's a way to make money. Because you're getting today, what the 10-year is at this point of time. What's the 1-year CD rate. What's the kind of yields which exist at this point of time. So it's become extremely attractive, but the challenges are there for us to reach the investor.
Naren, I spoke to a large global investor over the weekend, and he told me something which sort of has stayed with me. And my understanding from that conversation from this global investor was that, Indian policymakers are doing all the wrong things. There is a fight between the PMO and Reserve Bank of India. Whatever signal policymakers have sent in last 2 or 3 weeks, they've really damaged the market inertia and the market mood.
I don't know. I compare August 2013 with August 2012. In August 2012, we have had internal discussions at ICICI Prudential, and none of us believe that diesel prices will go up by almost 10 rupees in the next 1 year, which it happened. No one, almost, and all our discussions within ICICI Prudential, we didn't believe that petrol will get market priced. Is the time to worry about it? Today, no one believes that, crude is going to go shooting up. Last year, same time, we were very scared about the monsoon. We were worried whether you will have a normal kharif crop. This year, we're going to worry in some parts of the country about too much rain, not about too little rain. So, when I just compare the contrast 1 year back and today, all I find is that I believe that right now we are in better territory than where we were in August 2012. The government has taken very, very hard decisions, for example, on gold. I was just looking at the gold and silver data for April-May imports. We have imported something like 90,000 crores between gold and silver in April-May this year. I mean, that kind of number, 45,000 crores a month, isn't that? I mean, 45,000 crores is equal to what Indian mutual funds have received in the last 8 years now. So the point is that, and this is in 1 month. So I think, clearly the decisions that have been taken are short-term pain, and surely the trade deficit is today $12 billion. Everyone today pencils in $16 billion a monthly trade deficit. I don't think you're going to see $16 billion a monthly trade deficit. The only problem is that because there is a wealth effect due to real estate, people have not felt the pinch on consumption. Right. That's one issue that has to get slowed down. But otherwise, we are in very good territory.
Okay, Naren, on that positive note, we will let you go. Really appreciate you taking the time out and chatting with us this morning.